We're back with more proof that South Korea does it better. The movie opens up in a laboratory where a group of evil men armed with metal pipes are brutally attacking human bodies hidden beneath a sheet. Shortly after, the head of the experiment, Dr. Bayek, arrives there and suggests that they always aim for the head. Following her orders, the men continue hitting the bodies, despite a few of them still moving. In the midst of the horrific scene, 2 kids manage to escape from the lab, and Dr. Bayek's team, led by Dr. Choi, tries their best to catch them. After a bit of chasing, they capture one child, named Nobleman, who mentions that he tried to chase the girl, but got hurt by her instead. Hearing this, Dr. Bayek instructs Mr. Choi to keep looking for the girl, as she is armed with telekinetic abilities. The following morning, not far from the laboratory, a farmer named Koo notices the unconscious girl near his field and rushes to help her. Concerned, he brings her inside his house and, together with his wife, calls a doctor for help. The doctor assures them that the girl will recover physically, but sadly won't be able to remember her past life. That's not sad, that's convenient. 10 years go by, and the little girl has grown up and is now named Ja-yoon. Since Koo and his wife could not have children, they decided to adopt her. Now, Ja-yoon helps Koo with farm chores and has become very close to her adoptive mother, who is showing early signs of dementia. Moreover, the family is facing financial problems as the price of cattle keeps dropping. Koo discusses the need to sell their cattle, but Ja-yoon argues that selling at such low prices would result in significant losses. One night, after a quick shower, Ja-yoon suffers from a severe migraine that brings her to tears. The pain is excruciating, which completely numbs her senses, but fortunately, it doesn't last long, and she soon comes back to normalcy. The following day, Ja-yoon heads to school with her best friend Myung-hee. Out of the blue, the latter suggests that Ja-yoon should participate in an upcoming singing competition, which is offering a hefty winning prize of $500,000. Ja-yoon agrees right away because winning could help pay for her mom's hospital bills and solve their money problems. In the next scene, Ja-yoon goes for the audition and surprisingly scores the highest, earning an invitation to Seoul. That night, while watching her audition with her family, her parents discover that she showcased telekinetic abilities on TV. This alarms them, but Myung-hee defends her, claiming that special skills are popular nowadays. She also reassures them that everything will be fine, and that Ja-yoon's skills will help her gain extra exposure. Before bedtime, Ja-yoon comforts her anxious mother, promising that she is doing all of this to help them. Later that night, while Myung-hee is sleeping soundly, Ja-yoon experiences another headache. Meanwhile, Mr. Choi secretly observes her from a distance, as her identity has been exposed during the audition. The next day, the girls take a train to Seoul for the next phase of the audition. During the journey, a young guy sitting in front of them claims to know Ja-yoon, but our girl doesn't remember him. Here, we learn that the guy is none other than Nobleman. He even calls her Miss Witch and tries to slap her. Afraid, Myung-hee screams and makes a fuss, even though she thought this dude was real hot a second ago, which causes Nobleman to leave, but not before he tells Ja-yoon that they will meet again. As he departs, he bumps into a middle-aged man and insults him. When the guy tries to retaliate, Nobleman brutally finishes him off and tosses his body off the train. Later, upon reaching the studio, Ja-yoon delivers an exceptional performance. This gains her a lot of support from the judges, and as a result, she secures a spot in the quarterfinals. Elsewhere, Dr. Bayek is also watching the audition on TV. She gently smiles, almost as if she is happy to see the girl alive. Meanwhile, as Ja-yoon enters a bathroom, she suffers yet another violent headache. This time, she even faces a nosebleed, indicating that her illness is worsening. In a flashback, we are shown that when Ja-yoon visited a doctor, he informed her that the headaches would likely claim her life within 2 to 3 months. The only way to save her is a bone marrow transplant from her biological parents. Back to the present, Ja-yoon and Myung-hee are getting late to return home, and they wait for a taxi outside the studio. Right then, Dr. Bayek's men approach the girls, attempting to kidnap them. But, fortunately, a group of children exit the building at the same time and distract the men. Seizing the opportunity, the girls get into their taxi, and later take a train to return home. Upon their arrival at the station, while Myung-hee contacts her dad for a ride, Nobleman appears before Ja-yoon and threatens her, warning that he will harm her parents if she does not comply. As soon as he leaves, a panicked Ja-yoon urges her best friend to call her dad for help. Myung-hee's dad, Mr. Do, is a police officer, and he visits Ja-yoon's house. There, he finds Nobleman and his group waiting for someone. Sensing something amiss, Officer Do politely requests their identification, and and asks them to leave the premises. Moments later, the girls arrive home but cannot find anyone inside the police car. Panicked, they rush inside the house, only to find their fathers playing chess together. Before leaving, Officer Doe inquires if Ja-yoon knows the men who visited her house, and she replies with a no. Elsewhere, Nobleman and his group confront a professor, who is a former colleague of Dr. Bayek's. It is revealed that he has recently broken off all ties with the organization and is refusing to cooperate. In response, Nobleman, with his telekinetic abilities, uses a gun and kills the professor, along with his family. Afterward, they set fire to his house and leave the scene. The next day, Dr. Bayek meets with Mr. Choi and suggests that he take a vacation in Europe. She also instructs him not to interfere with her affairs again. The latter is unhappy with this decision, but ultimately complies with his superior's orders. Before leaving, he warns Dr. Bayek about Ja-yoon, describing her as a monster who must be eliminated. However, the doctor refuses to do so. During dinner, Ja-yoon's family expresses concern about the mother's illness. Her dementia is worsening, and she can no longer recognize even her daughter. That night, Ja-yoon is again awakened by intense pain from another severe headache. Meanwhile, Dr. Bayek's men sneak into the house and threaten Ja-yoon's mom with a gun. They also take Myung-hee as a hostage. Soon, Ja-yoon becomes aware of the situation, and as she gets up, she finds herself surrounded by a group of armed men. Initially, Ja-yoon tries to remain calm and pleads with the men to go away. But when one of them makes a slight cut on Myung-hee's neck, she becomes enraged and unleashes her extraordinary abilities. She moves at the speed of light and eliminates each one of Dr. Bayek's men ruthlessly. After the last goon is dead, Ja-yoon realizes what she has done and begins to panic. At the same time, Nobleman appears, impressed by her true abilities, and explains that Ja-yoon was engineered differently. He warns her that if she doesn't follow him, he will harm everyone in the village. He's just mad that she's a better singer than him, when he clearly has the looks for a K-pop dream. In the meantime, flashes of memories rush back to Ja-yoon, but they are still insufficient for a complete recollection of what transpired with her in the past. Nobleman offers to help her regain her memories, but insists that she must come with him, hoping that the laboratory can cure her brain disorder. Ja-yoon agrees. Before leaving, though, she requests Myung-hee to take care of her parents. Meanwhile, Mr. Choi assembles all the field agents, ready to assassinate Ja-yoon. Next, Nobleman and Ja-yoon arrive at an abandoned laboratory, where Dr. Bayek has been waiting. Ja-yoon is then brought to an interrogation room and tied to a chair. Dr. Bayek welcomes her and communicates through a speaker from the other room. She reveals that she has been looking for her for over a decade. They didn't look very hard, though. She was at the first farm down the street. Following this, Dr. Bayek gets straight to the point, promising to assist Ja-yoon in recovering her memories. She then orders her men to inject a serum into her. As the serum takes effect, Ja-yoon begins to remember the experiments conducted on her and the other children. Here, it is revealed that Ja-yoon was one of the experimental subjects, and Dr. Bayek was in charge of the whole operation. The entire experiment was conducted to determine the brain's supernatural ability. In the present, Dr. Bayek claims that she's now the world's top brain specialist, and that Ja-yoon was one of her most remarkable creations, specifically trained to be a ruthless killing machine. She also warns Ja-yoon that her migraines are a symptom of a disease linked to her abilities, and without proper treatment, her brain can explode. As the conversation continues, Ja-yoon once again suffers from extreme pain. This causes her to bleed from various organs and leaves her struggling to breathe. Finally, Dr. Bayek signals one of her men to administer another serum to Ja-yoon, claiming it is the only way to save her from death. She also mentions that the serum will restore her abilities fully, but its effects will last only a month. However, Ja-yoon's reaction to the injection surprises everyone. She passes a creepy smile to the doctor and reveals that she never lost her memory. In fact, she was only pretending so that she could get here. Ja-yoon further reveals that she intentionally showcased her talent in the audition to draw the doctor's attention. Now, with her abilities fully restored, Ja-yoon begins to create chaos. Suddenly, she breaks free from her restraints and eliminates Dr. Bayek's men in the interrogation room. In a desperate attempt to thwart her, the doctor orders the release of nerve gas, but to her dismay, Ja-yoon smiles at her, takes a few steps back, and escapes through the ceiling. Soon, she reappears behind Dr. Bayek and demands to know where the rest of the serum vials are kept. When the latter hesitates, she shoots her in the kneecap. Meanwhile, Nobleman and his group are on their way to the laboratory, where Mr. Choi and his men intercept them. A fierce battle unfolds between the two groups, and Mr. Choi's men initially gain the upper hand. However, a fighter from Nobleman's group named Harry Girl completely turned the tide. Harry Girl, in particular, is lit. In the next scene, as Ja-yoon is dragging Dr. Bayek, Nobleman catches up and suddenly attacks her. He warns her that he's not not the same as before and engages in a ferocious battle, but Ja-yoon ultimately defeats him. However, before she can finish him off, Mr. Choi arrives at the scene and shoots her. He then turns towards the doctor and, without letting her say anything, kills her. When he shifts his focus back to Ja-yoon, she has already recuperated from the bullet wound, and in the blink of an eye, she kills Mr. Choi by ruthlessly breaking his neck. If she keeps killing people, there's not gonna be a part 2. Moments later, Nobleman regains his composure and informs Ja-yoon that they are the only ones left. He also reveals that the remaining vials of the serum are in the control room, and speculates that the headquarters research facility may produce it. While she is distracted, Nobleman attempts to shoot Ja-yoon in the head, but she sidesteps the attack and repeatedly stabs him with a knife, ultimately ending his pretty boy life. Later, Ja-yoon successfully retrieves the remaining vials of serum from the control room and leaves, but not before setting the laboratory on fire. She then visits her adoptive parents at the hospital and provides Koo with the serum to slow down her mother's dementia. She might also start throwing shit with her mind and killing people, though. Fast forward by 3 months, Ja-yoon visits the twin sister of Dr. Bayek. The latter recognizes her from her file and provides her with a briefcase full of blue serum. However, Ja-yoon reveals that she seeks a permanent solution to her problem. Right then, a scar-covered young woman stands behind the doctor, and the movie ends with Ja-yoon threatening to kill the woman if she lays even a finger on her. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.